This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 1791, Working the ESI Scale to Financial Independence by ESI of ESI And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. Now let's hear today's post as we optimize your life. Working the ESI Scale to Financial Independence by ESI of ESI As you know, this site is about 3 easy steps towards financial independence: earning, saving, and investing. Separately, I've been thinking about the various ways to reach financial independence. In How to Become Financially Independent, I mentioned a whole host of factors that work together to get someone to FI. There are almost as many ways to hit FI as there are moves in a chess match. As I thought more about the ways to become FI and the 3 steps needed to get there, I came up with some random thoughts I want to share with you today. The ESI Scale. Let's assume there's a rating scale for each of the steps that describes how good a person is at that particular step. I'm going to suggest this one: disaster, bad, neutral, good, and excellent. You could use different words, but I think the meanings are clear. There is a range from totally terrible to totally awesome. That scale can be used to rate someone or yourself on each of the 3 steps of earning, saving, and investing. By doing this and playing around with some combinations, some interesting conclusions come to light. It's kind of like dissecting paper, rock, scissors. Working the ESI scale. Here are some thoughts I have about the combinations based on my experience. Number 1, you can't be a disaster in any of the steps if you want to reach FI at a reasonable age. Being utterly useless in one of the 3 areas is enough to kill any great progress in the other 2. For instance, even if you're great at earning and saving, if you lose a ton or at least can't propel your earnings through investing, you're dead in the water. If you can't earn more than minimum wage, it's going to be hard to make much headway with the other steps. And of course, we're all probably familiar with the disaster of someone making a ton of money and spending even more. Number 2, even if you're bad in one of the steps, you'll likely be hindered significantly. There's a reason Warren Buffett says, never lose money. And if you're bad at any of the 3 steps, you're going to lose money. Maybe you can overcome it with stellar results with the other 2, but I doubt it. Number 3, those 2 points lead me to the conclusion that to reach FI at any reasonable age, you need to be at least neutral on all of them. At least at that point, you aren't harming your finances. So I'm setting neutral as the baseline for all 3 steps for those who want to reach FI. Number 4, as we move to the positive side of things, obviously, the better you are at all of them, the faster you'll get to FI. Number 5, I'd add to this that if you want to reach FI when you're younger, let's say 50 or below, you have to be excellent with at least one of them. Number 6, the most common paths for reaching FI in relation to earning, saving, and investing seem to be excellent, good, good, and good, excellent, good. The ones who retire really young are excellent, excellent, good. And number 7, I don't think anyone is excellent at investing. I think good is about all most of us can strive for realistically. That leaves earning and saving as the focus areas for us all. How I match up on the ESI scale. If I was rating my performance on the scale, here's what I give myself. Number 1, earning. Excellent. This is the area where I performed the best in my opinion. I worked at growing my career and literally realized the extra millions I talk about for those who work to make the most of their careers. Most of my success was generated by trial and error. And one reason I write so much about growing careers is to let others in on secrets and tips I had to learn the hard way. Number 2, saving. Good. You could give me an excellent rating depending on your criteria. My savings rate has been 36% over the past 20 years. I think someone would need to be at least 40% to be excellent, but I'll let you judge on that. Still, 36% is pretty good, especially on a high income. And number 3, investing. Good. If I was near the top of the good rating for saving, I think I'm closer to the bottom of the good rating for investing. I started off rocky as I waited to invest and then tried picking my own stocks, both losing moves. I eventually only got good because I listened to other people and did what they said. I learned about index fund investing and started applying it. Then I read the Bogglehead's Guide to Investing and it reinforced what I was doing, so I kept at it. Finally, I got a real estate mentor and listened to him. I bought rental properties near the bottom of the market, which helped deliver a great return and solid appreciation. These then allowed me to retire early. So I'd say good, not excellent. In the end, being excellent at generating income, good at saving it, and good at investing was enough to generate a multi-million-dollar net worth. You just listened to the post titled Working the ESI Scale to Financial Independence by ESI of ESImoney.com. I like when ESI states that, quote, there are almost as many ways to hit FI as there are moves in a chess match, end quote. I was just talking to a friend the other day who was noting all the things she's doing wrong on the path to FI, despite the fact that she's making incredible progress. We all have different paths to FI that we need to create ourselves based on our unique circumstances, preferences, and skills. One of the biggest misunderstandings of the FIRE movement is that there's a right way to go about it, and that it's even possible to replicate someone else's path. In reality, the only thing we have in common is that people pursuing FI live below their means. How you go about that, how you invest, and how long it will or should take to reach FI is all up for debate. I also love that ESI states that no one can be excellent at investing. The most you can hope for is good. I think the point here is that you have no control over the volatility of the market and overall returns. To be a good investor is someone that invests early and often and holds on for the long term, meaning they don't panic sell. It's a pretty low bar, especially if you're passively investing in low-fee index funds. If you're looking to accelerate your net worth, you'll make more progress by growing the gap between your income and expenses than by focusing on investment returns. And the main reason is because you have more control with the former. But that should do it for another edition of Optimal Finance Daily. I'll be back tomorrow as usual, so I'll see you there on the Friday show, where your optimal life awaits.